A big time prospect, Luis Feliciano, undefeated fight, ProBox TV, wonderful fight opportunity. How did this fight come about, and what do you think of your opponent?
So this opportunity arose basically, well, through both ProBox. They reached out to my manager. Funny thing is that they were actually interested in working with us earlier this year. The thing is that it seems like we had kind of things lined up. Unfortunately, those things that we had lined up didn't really progress into that. So that's why we kind of, got stuck. I mean, we fought in April, and then we were looking forward to, having an active year. But unfortunately, those opportunities that, basically promised to us didn't arise to, how we wanted. Kind of things that happen in boxing. But then ProBox reached out to us actually it was an event in December, and we agreed upon it, and it was against an opponent. I'm not gonna throw the opponent under the bus or anything. The thing is that he was gonna have weight problems, so that didn't happen. So then then the opportunity to fight Mykquan came up, and obviously we agreed to it. I mean, I don't Mykquan Williams is a good fighter. He's undefeated for a reason. And yeah, this is just gonna be. I think it's gonna be a great way to start the year. I mean, this is how you do it. It's gonna, we're gonna start off with a bang, and obviously this is, I think that this is a great way to start the year, and then obviously stay active and healthy, and God willing, lead to bigger fights in 2024.
Well, I'm very excited about the matchup. I think you're two great young fighters, and I love seeing this. I've been surprised at where your career has gone over the past couple of years because I expected you to be in main event spots, to be headlining cards. And as you said, that was I was surprised how inactive you were last year. Can you speak about what the situation was around the inactivity?
Yeah, well, what led to, I mean, if we're talking about back in like 2019, 2020, when I was back with Golden Boy, we did have some problems with them. I mean, obviously we had COVID. COVID, I feel like everybody lost a year when it came to that. But then some issues arose with Golden Boy. We weren't seeing eye to eye at certain things. And that led to us going to arbitration, and then we finally got the release that we were asking for. It took some time, but that is what led to me being basically that hiatus for about 2 years. Yeah, over a little over 2 years. So then, yeah, in 2022. Sorry, yeah, was it 2022? No, yeah, 2022. We finally got back in the ring after hiatus. We got a couple of fights in, kind of just breaking that mold, trying to get active again. And then yeah, and then we felt like we were back, and especially after this April fight. But like I said, then we were kind of promised some opportunities, and that didn't happen. We were kind of waiting around. We basically we wanted a big opportunity, and it looks like we finally got this one in this with this fight coming up in a couple of weeks.
And you're a word of mouth guy. Everyone speaks very highly of you, about your talents and so forth and so on. Do you feel like you're one of these fighters that could break out in 2024? Like that you've accomplished a lot in the gyms, you have a high profile team, yet maybe to the average fight fan that only watches two fights a night, they might not be as aware of you as some of these other fighters.
Absolutely, I think this is one of the reasons why we wanted this fight. We wanted a big fight, a big opportunity with in a great platform like ProBox, who right now I'd say they're doing their thing. They're killing it. They're putting on great fights, and it's definitely accessible to everyone all across the world. So this is a big opportunity. So I think that a win will definitely do that. It'll put me in the conversation of being the top 15, top 10. I mean, we are fighting for a WBA regional title. So yeah, this is a big fight, and I feel like this is what I needed, especially at this point in my career, because then now I feel like this will set us up nicely for the rest of the year, and then going into the future.
Okay, okay, that's good. Where are you training?
I train in Las Vegas now. I moved here from LA. I've been here for a little under 2 years, and now I train with Ismael Salas.
So how did that come about? Because I knew that you're a highly intelligent guy, right? So you moved to LA because you knew the opportunities were in LA based on your promoter. Where did the move to Vegas and working with Salas, how did that come about since we last talked?
I think it was just more of a mutual thing with me and my manager. I think it was time to move on, something fresh, especially with the whole debacle that happened with my previous promoter, and just kind of get, it's kind of just a fresh start, and I also had I had one of my good friends. We actually grew up together in the gym as well. Luis Arias, who also trained with Salas. We're both from Milwaukee. Both came up the same gym back in UCC in Milwaukee. And and I asked him, hey, what do how's Salas? How's he as far as a trainer, and how do you like it there? And he obviously loves it, and I've heard nothing but great things about Salas. In regards to my manager, Francisco Bandido Vargas also trained with Salas. I think it was the last couple fights in his career, and also heard great things in regards to Salas from them. And yeah, so I basically said, okay, I'm with it, and yeah, and then I finally got a chance to train with Salas. I love the gym. I love the atmosphere. I mean, anybody will tell you that come to Vegas to the gym, to Salas's gym, they'll tell you. I mean, it's always lively. Everybody there is like family. It's just one big unit, and yeah, and I'm glad that I made the move because I've learned so much under Salas, and just being in that environment. I mean, you're in an environment, with world champions, great prospects, great up and coming fighters. So yeah, so I'm just glad that I made the move, and yeah, everything's gone great so far.
Let me also just add my insight. There's a level of confidence I've felt at the Salas gym. Like I wouldn't say arrogance, but you go in there and there's like guys like Brian Mendoza, there's guys like yourself, there's guys like Robeisy Ramirez. These aren't just regular fighters. These are guys that are kind of avoided fighters who are fine-tuning and pushing each other. There's an atmosphere, I'd say, of prestige to Salas's boxing gym in the prestigious boxing city of Las Vegas.
No, absolutely. You're 100% right. But you know what the great thing about it too is that everybody in that gym, they're there to help. They see little things or whatever, even, and it could be the simplest guy. It could be somebody that just started training there a weekend, or and they see something and they'll help you correct it, or they'll give you advice. And that's the kind of atmosphere that you have at Salas's gyms. So, and it's a great one. And you're obviously, you mentioned those great fighters, and also the the older fighters that are also established and world champions like Erislandy Lara, your Dennis Ugas, all those guys, even the Joe Joyces, all those guys that they do the same thing. Everybody is just kind of like, yeah, I'm a firm believer in, like, you're a product of your environment, so that's the kind of environment that I'm happy to be in, and I feel that it's gonna be a great asset in my career going forward.
Any fighter in particular, any story or memory from being in the gym that someone said something to you to reference, maybe for anybody?
Um, uh, Not, I mean, I wouldn't say anything crazy, but I mean, it's just I've had great. I mean, I can honestly say I hold a good relationship with many of the guys in that gym, and they've always been helpful to me. They've given me advice. I don't have any any stories that'll come up or pop out to mind. But no, I mean, I'm just like I said, I'm glad to be in that kind of environment, surrounded by those world champions, and I feel like I've definitely learned a lot from them.
Well, I think that the Solace story, to me at least, I look at your Dennis Ugas turning his career around in the gym. And then one of the first days Brian Mendoza's in the gym, Ugas takes a photo of the gym or whatever, and they're training side by side. And then minor details, 4 or 5 years later, Brian Mendoza basically does the same thing Ugas does, which tells me that's an environment that basically doesn't give up on guys. Like a lot of coaches would see a Brian Mendoza or Ugas, oh, you've got a couple of losses. You're a fighter that can't go to the mountaintop. And I think that that's pretty cool that the faith doesn't leave the coach believes in the fighter, the system, the team believes in the fighter.
100%. I think you mentioned it right there. Is the system too. I mean, not only Salas, but you also have great, some great assistant coaches there. Les Sky, Yaiker, Fernando. These guys are all they learn from Salas, and it's just one. Like I said, it's one big family. And we all trust in each other. We all have confidence in each other. And yeah, I think you're 100% right. Doesn't matter whether you're an undefeated fighter or you have 5 losses on your record. I mean, they're still gonna be in there. They want you to go all the way, and I mean, that'll give any fighter a boost of confidence.
So now I got a curveball for you. We got you from Milwaukee. We got Javier Martinez, Luis Aries, Daniel Blancas. Why is Milwaukee so talent rich as a fight and a
Uh,
city? It produces a lot of great fighters.
yeah, and the ones that are coming too. We come from we all come from the same gym. It's called the United Community Centers, UCC for short. And I would say it's been one man, Israel Shorty Acosta. He was a 2-time Olympic coach. Is for 2000 Sydney Games and in 2016 in Rio. And yeah, I mean, we've all come through his tutelage. Just so he was a great fighter himself in the amateur ranks. He's from Puerto Rico, and came up the amateur ranks on the USA Boxing. And yeah, and we just all, I mean, it's kind again. This is, I guess you could kind of compare a little bit to the Salas, what you see at Salas' gym. And, that system. It's kind of like that environment that we that we're in, and we've all learned through each other. And I guess you could say it's just that's really what it is, and yeah, and I think that we have a great system in place there in Milwaukee, and not only UCC, because again, there's other gyms all around that are also establishing themselves with national champions and up and coming fighters. So yeah, shout out to Milwaukee. A lot of people don't know about us, but we got some great fighters, and it's definitely good to see.
Well, I think all successful people strive for structure. And I look at your story, you're a college graduate. And I think that that's what people always overlook about your story. Tell me a little bit about how getting a college education paved your way for kind of your boxing career and kind of the importance of it to you.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. My college degree meant a lot to me. Not only that, not to myself, but obviously to my family. I'm first generation college student, so my parents obviously didn't have the opportunity to go to college. Them coming from Puerto Rico, that's pretty much primarily one of the reasons why they came to this country is to have the best resources possible for their children, and yeah, and for me, it meant the world. I managed to go to a great school in Marquette. I got my degree in criminology and law studies. Something that it's safe to say that I always have my plan B. It's always going to be there, whether boxing works out for me or not. And as you mentioned, that word structure. I mean, I think that's a great way to to set your structure. That's my base. Hey, I got something that I could look forward to even after my boxing career, and yeah, it meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to my family, and I know a lot of people around me are really proud of me that I was able to achieve that.
Well, and like I'm really appreciative of people like you because you show up on time. And I think that comes from college. You got to go there or else there's an impact. A lot of boxers kind of wing it. They'll show up at 4:05, 4:10. Maybe they'll be in the car. Oh, I'm going to go to run to Kmart, but I'm going to do the interview. Something about going to college teaches a level of discipline that you have to be somewhere. You might not learn, but you have to do certain things on certain days and show up. And I think that boxing, at least successful boxers, typically have that same mindset of, I train at this time, I spar at this time. There's an attention to detail that I think college, it translates very well to a pro athlete.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, you could. There's a lot of you could. There's some similarities in there that you could compare with the sport of boxing. Where there's certain things that you have to sacrifice. Having discipline. Knowing when to do certain things, when not to do certain things. It works. It works both ways, and it's kind of the same with boxing. So no, I agree with you. I agree with you 100% on that.
Heck yeah, that's all. That's the only reason I do this stuff is so people agree with me and then I feel good. What are your motivations right now? Like, what's motivating you at this point?
Man, just I'd say just I've been for me, especially what I've been dealing with for the past 2 3 years. I mean, we talk about inactivity, bad breaks, whatever you want to call it. I was just looking for that one big opportunity because I know I'm a great fighter. I know the kind of fighter that I am, and I just need to prove my, I just need an opportunity to prove myself. And I feel like this is going to be the perfect opportunity, and the perfect platform for me to do that, to showcase my talent, to show the world who I am, not only as a fighter, but just me as my character. And I think that I finally got it. And so that is what's motivating right now. That's what's driving me. Been working so hard. I mean, you could say for the past 6 months, really. Because again, I was waiting for some opportunities to arise, and they said that they were gonna give it to us. It didn't happen. So it is what it is. I wasn't gonna let that, or I wasn't gonna dwell on that, should I say? And kind of just you know, uh, you just be distracted or not do what I got to do. At the end of the day, I stayed at the gym. I stayed ready. And now that the opportunity is here, now it's time to show the world who Luis Feliciano is.
Perfect. Any good gym stories?
Uh, not that nothing that's popping over my mind, but yeah, I mean, at the gym, it's always a good time. That Salas gym, like I said, anybody that comes to that gym will tell you that gym is always popping, whether it's the music, everybody dancing, Salas being loud, all the fighters having a good time. We get in there, we have a good time, we laugh, but at the same time, we're also very, we're very hardworking. We're very, very dedicated. So I mean, it's just a great environment to be in.
Well, I'm trying to see like maybe sparring stories from the past, like something that might be a knee chuckler. Anybody try to like do something crazy to you in sparring, you have to knock them out. Anybody like
No,
run out of the gym because they want to spar you or something. Guy says that
no,
they
not.
have a flat tire and they show up 3 hours late or something.
Oh, you always have your fighters that'll come up. Oh, I left my mouthpiece. I left my headgear.
Oh,
That
that's the oldest trick
that
in the
same
book.
that BS. Yeah, that BS story. Yeah. No, but to be honest, I haven't really dealt with anything, man. Not at least not that I can remember. You know, uh, I've always gotten great work. But I've sparred with. I mean, I've gotten a chance to spar with great fighters, former world champions. I mean, everywhere that you could name it, LA, Big Bear, here in Vegas, Florida, you name it. So,
Weren't you
but
around
yeah, nothing.
Golovkin? Like when Golovkin was really
Yeah,
popping, weren't you like training up there?
yeah,
Fighting? What was that like?
yeah. My first professional training camp. My very first professional training. I was aside. I was aside with Golovkin and Chocolatito, and this was back in 2015. This is when both of them were literally they were number one, number two, number three in the pound for pound list. So I mean that was an incredible experience. Um,
Wait.
just I
I'm gonna make this unprofessional now. So, what are you thinking there? Because it's like you're turning pro, you're doing a 4 rounder or whatever, and then you got like the biggest boogeyman knockout guy and one of the generational fighters that's about yee tall, but he's getting lower weight fighting on
yeah.
TV. What are you thinking when you are you like hitting the bag and kind of looking over? Are you listening to what they're hitting, or were you like, I'm just gonna do me, be super focused? Like, what's the mindset being next to those legends?
I mean, to be honest, I mean, how I was like, yo, I was just shut up and listen. Anything that they say, anything that they do. I mean, that's what I try to. And I always say that, they really showed me the ways of how to train like a professional, how to conduct yourself like a professional. And this is a boxer, of course, that we're talking about. So yeah, I mean, just I really applied myself, and I learned from them, just being around them. Just like I was really starstruck, to be honest. I mean, I remember we all went for we all running together, and this was every day. Every day we would run together. Everybody, the group of guys that I was with as well, and it was just a surreal moment. I'm like, damn, I'm right next to these guys. and it's also a confidence booster. It's like, yo, like this is, I'm doing well for myself. If I'm in that if I'm in this position, I'm here for a reason. There's a purpose why I'm here. So yeah, so it makes you feel good inside. It's very motivating, and yeah, so I could say that, and I have a great picture too. There's a picture up there somewhere on Instagram. But yeah, it's a picture of me with Chocolatito and Golovkin right after our one of our morning runs. So yeah, so that was definitely a great experience, and this is going back to kind of what we mentioned earlier about just the environment. I've been blessed to be I've been blessed to be around some great environments in my boxing career, and I've learned a lot through those guys.
I miss that Able gym because it's like it's just a non-discreet house that nobody knows it's there.
Yeah.
You walk in the door, and then I remember Abel has like this super fancy camera with a lens that's like able to take photos of stars. And then he just has all these amazing photos the world doesn't know exist of like the greatest boxers ever that have trained there.
Yeah.
And I just remember seeing all the t-shirts on the wall. So like
Yeah, you
I
got the
remember
all the
seeing
t it's all the t-shirts, it's a bunch of pictures, a bunch of pictures. I mean, we're talking about fighters going back to the 60s, the 70s. Yeah, it definitely has that old school gym kind of vibe.
in the
And like you said,
medical tables. There's like two
yeah,
medical tables for ab.
yeah,
And then Abel had golf on, and I'm a big golf guy. So he's showing me the
yeah.
wedges and talking to me about golf. And people are training, but it's like it was a very like how do I well, it was just not a soft gym. It's like you gotta
Nah,
felt like you had to prove yourself or you're gonna get run out of town.
100%. And I mean, the training there was tough. I mean, we used to do some crazy stuff in there. And the rounds with our sparring rounds were 4 minute rounds, 30-second breaks. And this is in high altitude. So and obviously it wasn't the most exciting place in the world to be in, of course, Big Bear Lake that is. So it was pretty boring, but there's a reason for that. It's trying to for the fighters not to be distracted or anything like that in comparison to the city life and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, you're right. I do miss that place. I agree with you that yeah, I do miss that place. I mean, I trained there for years, and then towards the end, we would only make that. We'll probably make the trip up there for maybe a couple of times, but I probably the first 3 years I was staying up there in Big Bear. So yeah, so it has some great memories there and some very valuable lessons up there for sure too.
Well, you and Julian Williams talk about how boring it was. I went up there and I'm like, oh, I could live up here. Like the only thing, like for me, the only thing was like, the golf courses are kind of far away. But other than that, it's like, I don't really need people. The isolation's great. I could get land. But like all these boxers, I always hear the common thing. There's nothing to do. It's like, for me, that's my pace of life. Stay out of my business. Walk
Oh
in,
yeah,
it like, I guess there's other stuff people like to do in the city, but shit, that was my
yeah.
cup of tea.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess whatever floats your boat, but I've always been kind of I guess I've been always kind of like a city guy. I mean, that'd be a great place to have a training camp, but I don't know as far as living. But and it's cold too, snows a lot. But I mean, it is
What's
what it
colder,
is.
Milwaukee or Big Bear?
You said what?
What's colder, Milwaukee or Big Bear?
Um, I'd say probably don't. I mean, Big Bear used to get really cold, but obviously Milwaukee, I think, is a different story. I mean, we're facing cold, basically 6 7 months out of the year, basically. So
Like
so
Carhartt
yeah, Milwaukee
jacket
was
type
a difference.
cold? Like you gotta
Oh yeah, like
dress
below,
jackets.
yeah, yeah, no, like more than a jacket, like you need a coat, like and then also we're by the Great Lakes, so then you have that wind chill. I mean, those used to be brutal during the winter time. I remember I used to wait for the school bus, just waiting in that below zero, and then wind chills like -20. Yeah, it wasn't fun. I mean, I've been here in the West Coast now for what, for 7 years
You're
now, eight
soft
years,
now.
going go,
You're
going
soft.
going down to yeah. I'm in the West Coast now, so my days in Milwaukee are long over, man.
Yeah, I want to go play Whistling Straits by Milwaukee.
Yeah,
Like the
that's a
snow
big one.
just
Yeah,
for that wind. And
Yep, yep.
I know about it from that because it's like, imagine if the weather dips, the winds get up to 40 miles per hour. That's like Chicago. It's like the coldest
Hmm.
I've ever felt was Chicago in like 20-degree weather. It wasn't the cold, it was the wind going into
It's the
my.
wind. It's the wind. That's what kills you, man. That's that wind chill, and yeah, that's always that. That's always gonna kill you. That wind. It's always a wind.
Okay. What can you promise for people that tune into this telecast? What are they going to see with this fight?
Well, I think listen, I think that they're gonna see two warriors. Hungry for the. This is an opportunity that I feel that we've both been hungry for. I'm pretty sure he's been waiting for his opportunity as well, just as me. This is gonna be a great fight. You got two undefeated opponents. Um, I mean, we're just pretty much gonna lay everything on the line. I mean, again, this is a big opportunity for us. This is a opportunity that'll, pretty much makes us into title contenders. I mean, being top 15, top 10 in the world after this fight. So yeah, we have a lot to lose, obviously, as well, because we have our undefeated records on the line as well. And you're gonna, it's definitely gonna be a big, starting off the year with a bang. And I feel like a lot of people. I mean, there's also a nice little spotlight on us because I could say that we're kind of like the first big, really entertaining fight of to start off the year. Just a couple weeks into the new year. So yeah, they could expect a great fight. I mean, I feel really confident in myself and my skill set and my preparation. And yeah, I'm just very motivated to showcase and show the world who Luis Feliciano is.
Right on. Well, I'll be watching, man. I appreciate you making time for little old me.
No problem, Luke. Thank you. Appreciate
Of
you.
course.